back. Couch Radio, episode 6. Frankie and the Witch Fingers.
All right, so here's the deal. We were trying to do this interview on 420, Blaze It, and so essentially the time zones were mixed up. So we thought we were doing it at 4-hour time when really it was 3-hour time, and we totally blew it. We sat on the other end of this the Zoom call just like waiting for them to come in. I don't know, for like 20 minutes, and they probably did it an hour earlier. So anyways, it was weird, so we ended up doing it on 421, and then we tried to Zoom, and we hopped on, and they had like really cool backgrounds. One was in space, one was in popcorn. We couldn't use it because the audio was garbage, and then that led us to do this whole thing on a 3-way phone call, which was delightful, but you might hear some like kind of pauses like, who's going to talk next, which you get from 3-way phone calls. So
yeah, I forgot about that since it was like 8th grade the last time I had a 3-way phone call, but there are some lag times, so you guys can enjoy that. We're sponsored today by Waterloo Records and what's the other one, Shelby?
Monkey Nest Coffee.
Monkey Nest Coffee.
You know, I got to be real straight. I haven't talked to the guys from Monkey Nest in a while. I don't know if we're still Are we still pulling in major checks from Monkey's Nest? I don't know. But we're going to plug them because guess what? It's that good.
It's that good, and we're loyal. And in this economy, Shelby?
What else can you ask for except for a loyal person to just come to your place of business, you know, when there isn't a global pandemic, and sit in there and drink some coffee and just get some work done and live your life.
Joking aside, I think it's more important now than ever to get your favorite guy to go get some Monkey Nest and to shop online at Waterloo Records.
True that. And I mean, honestly, with the pandemic, this is like one of the best times to, you know, okay, listen, everybody just got $1,200. That's at least 3 or 4 records that you could buy.
Yeah. Classic records.
Classical, classic rock. So anything like that. But definitely like, I mean, Waterloo's just super sick.
Get Frankie and the Witch Fingers.
Yeah, get some Frankie and the Witch Fingers. They might have actual witches' fingers at Waterloo. They've got a lot of exotic things, so definitely check them out.
Also, we're at First Names Music on all the socials, and we're actually working on a couple songs right now. We're almost done with them, and we're really stoked to release those soon.
Yeah, man. Enjoy our interview with Dylan and Josh from Frankie and the Witch Fingers. We love you. I'm glad that we got to see each other at all, because now I can visualize you guys in space and popcorn while we do this.
Yeah. That was really the only reason. That was the only reason for the video chat.
Yeah.
Have badass background.
Cool. Well, shoot. I guess to start things off, Josh and I over here actually are from Indiana, and you guys are too, correct?
Oh, hell yeah. As a band, we are. Like, we all met in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Back in, 2012, 2013. But, yeah, we all met in Bloomington, but none of us are actually from there.
Oh, really? Where'd you guys come from?
Yeah, Josh is San Diego, and I come from Kentucky, which is pretty close to Indiana.
Yeah. What made you guys want to go to IU?
I just kind of needed a school to go to, and I got a partial scholarship there. And I was like, yeah, Midwest sounds cool.
Sweet.
That's cool. So were you guys in
I
other...
didn't go to IU.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I just moved to Bloomington to play music because there was nothing going on.
That's a great segue. I was gonna ask, were you guys like playing music and in other bands before you guys met?
Yeah, Dylan was in a band called Dead Beach, among like the solo thing. I was in a couple bands, like Triptides and a band called Ivory Wave.
Nice. And were you
There's
guys?
a lot of side projects going on.
Yeah. Are you guys still doing side projects, or is it fully Frankie and the Witchfingers now?
It's fully Frankie and the Witchfingers now. I mean, we all, like Josh has been making cool synth music lately. Like, we like to do stuff at home, but nothing for capitalism. It's all just,
Right.
it's all just for our own kicks.
Scheduling a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys met in Bloomington, and then I'm sure, I guess obviously as some of you being from San Diego, maybe the move back to the West Coast was like kind of an easy choice, but how did that decision go about? Like, what made you guys decide to relocate there?
I actually kind of had the idea just because I was closer to home. I heard about the awesome music scene out there. I didn't really know anyone in LA, but I just have heard great things. So yeah, 3 of us from the band at the time moved, except for Dylan, and then he his hand was kind of forced if he wanted to play with us, so it all worked out, but it took him an extra year to get out there. Right, Billy Boy?
It sure did. had to save up my marbles. But I had always wanted to move to California for weed and for sunshine. The last year I was in Indiana by myself, we had this crazy winter that was like 15 below or something, and I was like, all right, yeah, California's calling my name for sure.
Dude, I remember that, the polar vortex year where it was like 20 below forever.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, that sucked. I'm sure you weren't the only one that moved to greener pastures after that one.
Right.
So like, speaking of LA, like LA to me, I mean, it feels like so much great psych rock music is coming from there, like you got like Ty Segall and OCs and, you guys and just like Wand and stuff. Like, it seems like such a big, kind of like an epicenter of that kind of music right now. Does it feel like that to you? And like, is that important to be surrounded by that? And does it affect your guys' processes in any way?
It's hard to say because like nothing's different, for us. We're just here.
Sure.
We didn't really move here in order to like join a club or anything. Like, cause that stuff, like, it was going on in Bloomington. Like, there was a really cool psychedelic music scene, or just music scene in general, but a lot of good psychedelic bands too, like Apache Dropout and DOB Open Sex and all these cool bands. So there's a lot of that going on everywhere. But I don't know, LA's just kind of the entertainment place to go. There's no ceiling as far as like how much you can do out here. I think that was the main thing with like in Indiana, you can only play the same bars so many times and stuff like that. But like out here, it's kind of like, if you can be a part of a music scene out here, it's definitely it's like a grander scale.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely changed the way we operate in terms of like just trying to make this like the music our only thing we do. It's a lot easier to do that in Los Angeles rather than if we were living in Indiana. It might feel a little different, but there's definitely a lot of killer music here as well as everywhere.
Yeah, sure, true.
Yeah, man, we moved for very similar reasons. We're like a band too, and we were playing in Indiana, and we felt the same way. Like, you could play the same circuit of like the same places, but we moved to Austin Austin, Texas for our band, and like, I don't know. I was wondering, has there been any like negative parts of like moving to or being in LA and trying to do Frankie and the Witch Fingers in LA?
Rent.
Rent. Right.
That's about it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
don't you guys miss the $200 rent?
I do.
It's a distant memory.
Yeah.
Things have changed. So you guys moved from Indiana to Austin. Are you in Austin now?
Yeah, we're calling you straight from Austin. Right, meow. This is where we were, and we were excited to see you guys at South by again this year. We saw you guys at South by last year, and that's just, we went from thinking that you guys were like, oh, this is a cool band, like that we would listen to like on Spotify and stuff, and then it was like, oh, like this band is sick. This is like incredible. Like we were really stoked when we saw you guys live.
Yeah, I think like that. It kind of like your live show kind of like pushed us over the edge into like, it just felt like such a, I'm so energetic and like such a cool thing that could stand alone. And so we were wondering, like, is that something that you guys are conscious of? Does it feel like, okay, well, if we can get in front of people, we can really sink our teeth in? Is that something that you guys think about?
Totally. Yeah.
I think
And
we
last
always
South by
kind
was
of talk.
crazy.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just saying, like last South by was crazy because we were like, that was kind of the point. It was like we're gonna play 12, 16 shows or something in like 3 days. So if there's ever a time to like cut your teeth into the live performance thing, that was like boot camp version of that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little chiller this year though.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we try to view like every show as like an opportunity. You see so many bands out there that are just like, they look bored or they're not even moving up there. And we've talked about that. Like, we don't ever want to do that.
Yeah, I think it's like a reaction to the music itself. It's like, obviously there are bands out there that make mellow music, and so you're not distracted if they're also mellow on stage. But our music's pretty high energy, so it wouldn't really make sense for us to not be high energy. It's kind of just like we're making it sonically, so the body will follow.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So speaking of the live set, I think I was, stalking your guys' Instagram like quite a long time ago, and I remember coming across something that some comment somebody said, like, I saw Frankie and the Witch Fingers last night, and it was like scary, and it kind of like, it seemed like it was like in a positive connotation, and then you like relate that to your guys' the type of visuals you guys use, which I would say, I don't know, like kind of old school horror movie kind of stuff, and it fits your aesthetic really well. And I just wonder, like, what's the thought process behind that, and like how involved are you in creating all that stuff?
I mean, we've been really lucky. We kind of just fell into the projection thing. Like, we never were like, oh, we really want to have live projections, so like, let's hire a guy. It just kind of happened to be like, there's like a huge community of artists that do that kind of stuff digitally, or the liquid light thing. I've really been into the digital stuff lately, just because it's like taking on new kind of face every so often, because people are experimenting and doing new things. But really, we just lucked out. We come into contact with artists that kind of like mirror our aesthetic or our like vibe, and then they put it out visually, and we put it out sonically, and it's just a cool marriage. Like our buddy Joshua Bruce, he goes by Spaghetti Jesus. He's been working with us on a lot of our stuff, music videos and stuff, and it's just kind of like a organic friendship that happened. But yeah, all of his stuff totally mirrors our vibe. He's a spooky dude, and kind of he's wild.
Hey, speaking of just creating the show and creating the sonic fusion that goes into everything, what are the roles in that? Like, what are the who does what? And it might not be the same all the time, but who's like in charge of like creating the songs and like the lyrics and the tones and each part? Like, how do you guys go about that? And has that changed like over the years?
So Dylan usually writes like the core of the song, and he writes all the lyrics. I kind of help on the production side, like he'll have a riff and we'll flesh it out, and we'll work together structuring it with Shaughnessy on the drums too. It's kind of like he has, he makes the baby and then we carry it to home or whatever.
Nurture the child. Yeah,
Nurture the
like
child.
That's changed a lot. It used to be more so like, hey guys, here's a song, and then it's like pretty much fleshed out, and then we just kind of like demo it out or record it, and then that's where the collaboration comes from. But lately, with our new drummer Shaughnessy, when he joined, it's been more of a collaborative process, like from the beginning, where it's like just kind of ideas branching from our little jams, our little jams we do, and we keep a bunch of sound memo or whatever they're called, little phone memos of our jams, and then just kind of revisiting those and like expanding on those ideas and stuff, and so. It's definitely gotten more and more collaborative to the point of now I don't even like really sit and write songs by myself. It's more like ideas to bring to everyone to then flesh out a song, because I think it allows for more exploration. There's not these like boundaries of like, okay, this is the verse, this is the chorus.
Yeah, totally. So, like, what kind of, you guys have great tones and, like, so much of your stuff, like the guitar tones and, like, just the tone of things, and you kind of have, I'm just curious, like, which one of you guys is obsessed with, like, tone and vocal effect and stuff? Because it feels like that's definitely intentional in your guys' work.
I think Josh.
Combination. It's like Dylan and I really think a lot about the tone of things. We go pretty heavy-handed on the delay. Because you'll hear a delay and you'll be like, ooh, that's intense. But then in the context of the music, it kind of like blends in really well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
doing some weird stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I feel like we both. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're both like pretty auditory thinkers. Like I think like Shaughnessy and Nicole and Alex and all the bass players, like people we've worked with, they think differently. Like I feel like Josh and I are very auditory, just in the way we think about music, and even like we'll hear a ceiling fan make a sound and it'll remind us of a song or something. It's like that's where the tone stuff comes from. It's like the way we communicate is more on a auditory level. So that kind of translates into like the textures and the colors of the song is kind of like, Josh has an idea. Usually like guitar wise, it's very much like how can you detach the guitar from a guitar and make it sound more like a like a texture or an experience or something like that.
Yeah, that's really cool that you guys are like collaborated and you guys have that similar kind of ear and just desire to come up with something that feels good to you. Like I'm wondering like what 60s and 70s kind of inspirations that you guys are drawing from. And do you ever like hear a song and then you're like, ooh, that, and like that's like the layer that you kind of are drawn to, or like the effect that you're drawn to? And if so, like what are some of those like inspirations or that have been inspirations like in the past?
A lot of Velvet Underground. I I would say.
Yeah.
Like the way I don't know, the way their rhythms are, and like kind of the simplicity of a lot of their sounds. A lot of like as far as the experimentation goes.
Okay, cool.
You know, some like Captain Beefheart, like early Safe as Milk. You know? Try to get that bass tone a lot, that like real blown out bass tone.
Yeah, totally. Man, I mean, so as far as like you guys like releasing your own music and like how you guys choose to do it, just being that we're in this like weird like digital age where you don't really need vinyl or you don't need a tape, but that stuff's kind of cool, and then deciding whether to do things like in a single format or in like as a full record. Like you guys came out with a couple like pretty you put out a full length, and then you came out with a couple singles, and then now another single. And by the way, I love Drip T. Those two singles were like insane to me. But I'm just like wondering, like, what's your decision process like there? Like, cause it's almost like we're in this like Thunderdome era where you don't have to do a record, you can do whatever you want. So how do you guys choose?
Yeah, it's funny because I feel like the more that it seems apparent that we're supposed to be making singles and stuff, the more we feel like we want to make less like song or like what's like just like more like albums. You know, like my favorite thing to do is listen to an entire album and like go on a journey with the changing of the songs, and it's almost like watching a movie or something. You know, you get different scenes and different environments and stuff, and so like I think the more we're pushing towards like this explorative side of things, the less like we always like pop music, so it's gonna be inevitable that we make some singles just because like that's our one of our favorite things is listening to like Alanis Morissette and Britney Spears and Beyonce or whatever, but like there's also this side of things where it's just like jamming and then turning that into a song or a piece or whatever. And so I think moving forward, just like making albums that kind of have to be listened to as an album rather than I put this song on my playlist or whatever. I mean, that's cool too. I just think that's what we've been interested in lately, is kind of like creating a story.
Cool, yeah. What was something that like, I mean, I feel like you guys are at a point where you have like, I work with people who like, oh yeah, and they know you guys and stuff, so it's like you guys kind of have like a wide reach now, and I was like wondering, do you feel that, and is there like do you feel freedom in that you can maybe make some different decisions, or have you always just been like, we're gonna do whatever we want and whatever happens?
Yeah, I feel like we're lucky to have some awesome fans, and it's cool to see it growing. And it seems like we do what we want, and people are on board. But we also keep the live show in mind when we're writing. We write things that would be, exciting to play live for us, and hopefully if it's exciting for us, other people like it too,
Yeah, right on.
Definitely.
It's cool that you guys have like drawn a fan base where if you do put it out like an LP, that so many people will actually listen to it all the way, like from front to back, and take that journey, have that experience. And I love all your guys' references going back a little bit from Captain Beefheart to like Britney Spears, because I don't know, I feel like we might be like around the same age, and we grew up with like the 90s influences of like Alanis Morissette and Britney Spears and Sugar Ray and everything. So it's just really cool that you guys have like that eclectic mix to it. I was wondering, do you like taking what you guys heard like growing up, do you think that seeps like into your writing a lot, or do you think that like are you more, I guess I'm asking, are you more intentional when you write, like I want to write a song like this, or I'm inspired by this right now, or is it just kind of I'm just going to try to write a song and whatever happens, or is it both?
Definitely Usually both. Like, definitely the pop side of our childhood comes in a lot, but it's usually very subconscious because, it's kind of funny to, like, think about sitting and being like, I want this to sound like Alanis Morissette. Like, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's definitely been these moments where, like, we write a song, we record it, and then we listen to it and go, oh, shit, that's totally an Alanis book or something. It's like, it's kind of like it happens in retrospect.
Right.
Where it's like, it's kind of something you can't help. Like, I feel like a lot of bands are pretty strict in their influences. Like, they're like you said, you pick a band, you're like, oh, we wanna sound like this one. This is a Birdsy song, so we're gonna birds it up, and it can only be true to that Birdsy sound. But I think that's something that we've always tried not to do, is like not pigeonhole. Like it has to be this, and so because of that, a lot of our influences that aren't, that maybe don't line up with what people would expect, kind of creep their way into stuff, and that's what makes it, us.
That's great, man. I relate with that so much. And it's, that's a big pattern, like, among people. It's like whenever you were born and when you were like a kid, like, what did your parents play in the house? What did you hear in the grocery store? What did you hear in the car? And like, that just kind of subconsciously can seep into your stuff, even if you're trying to make like a Captain Beefheart type of, vibe.
Totally. I mean, and when we grew up, like pop music now, there's some good stuff out there, but like when we, at least in my opinion, like pop music had a lot more risk and a lot more depth to it than it does now, and so that's definitely like, up from the 60s to the early 2000s, like all of that stuff is carried, and you can go further back or whatever, but that's like the stuff that we've kind of soaked in the most, and that comes out whether we mean it for it to or not. I've definitely heard a song of ours and been like, shit, that's from like a hip hop song I was exposed to when I was too young to be listening to dirty trap or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's just whatever we've experienced, kind of like, and we all kind of appreciate the same aspects, especially Josh and I. Like, we're suckers for good pop songs. It doesn't matter how cheesy it is. Like, it's good. It's good.
Right. Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, so I mean, you guys are, trapped inside right now, like the rest of us, and you guys probably were you going on like? I know you're coming out to South by, but did you have like a big touring schedule set up? And I'm just sure that you're. Everything's changed for everyone. So what are you guys up to right now? How are you dealing with quarantine? Are you getting a bunch done, or are you kind of just binging Tiger King like the rest of the world?
I mean, we've watched Tiger King. You gotta see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had a tour, or we have kind of a few tours scheduled this year, so we'll see what happens. It's kind of weird being in limbo, but Dylan's up in LA, I'm down in San Diego. I've been recording a lot and kind of working on my own songs, getting friends to send me drums, jamming over that. Dylan and I collabed on like a synthy thing. Sounds pretty cool.
Josh,
I don't know, it's weird.
Josh, that last whole bit of stuff you said, I'm sure it was awesome, but we couldn't hear any of it. Like, it was just like I don't know if it's just a signal or if your voice was too far from the speaker. But if you just want to repeat that last bit of like, that nugget of knowledge, feel free.
Yeah, wait, when did it cut out?
Oh, no, like, we can hear you great right now, but everything that you were saying, like when you first started talking, it was just like too small.
Gotcha. I let me try to recap. Tiger King?
Yes.
Seen it. Great. Tours, not so good. We don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully, since we're not playing like massive shows, we will be able to start touring, some at least by the end of the year. But it's all up in the air. And quarantine, just making a lot of music, Dylan and I have been collabing on some stuff. Shaughnessy just sent me some drums last night. Yeah, Dylan, what are you doing? You working on a lot of artwork?
Yeah, I mean, we did have a lot of tours. Right now, they're just being rescheduled, and then we'll just see where they land. But we have a record we recorded in January, and we've been planning on rolling that out with a tour and with videos and all that good stuff. So we're just kind of in the middle of all that. It's kind of, I mean, I've been trying to be optimistic about everything. It just allows us to create more art for this album we've been working on. But definitely trying to stay busy around the house and work on stuff.
Yeah. So do you
I'm
guys...
making some handmade things for the near future.
Gotcha. Yeah. So is that how you guys normally record? Do you somebody writes something and then you kind of digitally send stems and kind of somebody else works on it and then somebody else, or is it mainly writing and then into the studio?
It's usually writing and then into the studio. We're none of us are that tech savvy, and it's kind of, especially when we're all separated, it's hard to coordinate sending something along, but it's been cool to experiment with during these times. We're starting to dabble in that. It's definitely not ideal, though. You gotta, there's nothing that compares to being in the same room with someone and reacting during a jam. You just don't get that on a pre-recorded thing,
Yeah, totally.
It's really exciting that you guys are sitting on an album right now. That's great. Is there anything else you could tell us about it?
Yeah, we recorded it in January with a buddy of Josh's from way back when. We pretty much we went on this really long tour last year. We got back and then just went straight into the studio. We were kind of just we were on the road so much that it started to be oh man, we gotta get them into the studio and record and make new songs. Not sick of the old ones, but would be nice to play some new ones. And so we got into the studio pretty quick and busted out a record, and then we had all these tours planned kind of around this time, but things have changed, so we pushed back a little bit on the release for the record for a month, but it'll be out soon, and we'll have lots of fun stuff to go with it. But I'm stoked for people to hear it.
It's been the silver lining during all this is we got an album done. So
Yeah, that's great. And you guys are using your time well, it seems like, just to keep the creativity going and not letting it stop you. And maybe something cool comes out of sending stems to each other that wouldn't have happened if you guys were in a room together.
Wait, sorry, I couldn't really hear that one.
I was just saying maybe something cool will come out of you guys sending stems to each other and not being in a room together. Maybe that creative process will spurt something that wouldn't have happened otherwise.
Yeah, totally. We're kind of just experimenting with that. It's interesting because you can, with recording, you have the luxury of stopping and taking as many tries as you can to figure something out. It's, in a way, it's kind of artificial, but it's also easier to experiment with. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So you guys, go ahead.
I kind of came in on the last part of that, but I'm excited because Josh has been making a lot of cool instrumental jams, and I'm excited to try to work that in to something, to new stuff, new sounds, new experiments. That's what I think now is a good time to experiment.
Totally.
Yeah. So you guys.
Luck out of that mode.
Right. So you guys had all these tours planned, and you guys tour a lot. And when you're not touring, you're in the studio. Do you guys still have other jobs that you're doing? And if not, what's the worst job that you've had to deal with while trying to get the band up?
I've done a lot of Lyft driving. You know, driving people around.
Gotcha. Staple.
It's pretty conducive to touring because you're your own boss.
Has anybody ever ralphed in your car
I
or
work at a
anything?
bagel shop.
You
I'm
see,
sorry, what was that?
well, I asked if anybody had ever ralphed in your car or anything. Any horror stories from Lyft?
No, luckily not. I know I've given like 1,000 rides and no one's ever done that. So knock on the wood next to you.
That's good. Well, we just jinxed you. Did you say you work at a label shop though, Dylan?
I work at a bagel shop. It runs out of this venue called the Hi Hat. We do like bagels and sandwiches and stuff, and it's considered an essential business. So I still have a job. I'm one of the lucky few that still has a job during this time. So it's been freeing.
Yeah, a schmear is definitely essential, I would say. Speaking of, man, did you guys ever go to Bloomington Bagel? Big fan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
BBC.
Yeah, dude, that was like my favorite spot.
Art still is. Yeah.
So,
You guys are so. Did you guys go to IU?
No, we're actually from the Indianapolis area, so like I don't know. We've been down there a few times. One time when we were in high school, we went down to see Snoop Dogg at what's that, Little Five. We've just been down there with friends and stuff.
it would have been cooler if we
Little
did.
Five.
I went to Indiana State.
Indy's rad.
Yeah. Bloomington's is like the best part of Indiana. But I went to Indiana State in terrible Terre Haute, and Shelby went to Purdue. So, yikes, right?
Larry Bird.
That's right, Larry forever. We're loyal.
Hey, I have one question here that I have written down. I just wanted to get to it before we end our time. But what's something? So you guys are always recording either together or separately. And what's something that's like not good for you guys to have around when you're trying to record or to write music?
Not good to have.
Maybe like a TV.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
I've been set up in like the TV room at my dad's house, and it's kind of just looming over everything. It's like a big distraction. So try not to watch that much TV and stay focused.
Right.
Yeah. Especially with the news right now, I think everyone's getting really caught up in the news. But yeah, I was just wondering. I feel like I'm some sort of ADD for sure. So like, I kind of have to strip things away to really focus on what I want to focus on, and that can be different when you're with people too. But hey, before we let you guys go, we like to end the podcast with asking what's like a song or two or three that you've been inspired by, or that you're listening to right now that we could put on our playlist. We have a Couch Radio playlist on Spotify, and we like to put one of your songs, and then we'll put like whatever songs you guys say. So is there a song that you guys have been like playing a lot in quarantine, or that's like been like a big inspiration for you over the years?
Oh, cool.
Uh,
I've been jamming
What have you been
a lot of. I've been listening to "Heart of the Sunrise" by Guess. It's a really sick song. A lot of like crazy rhythms and super proggy.
Cool. You said it was by Guess?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Check that out.
yeah. I've been listening to a lot of Dorothy Ashby. It's just nice to have around the house, like working on stuff. It's not super like distracting, It's just like rad soundtrack music, especially the instrumental album she did. I think it's like 1970, the white cover. Spotify ruined.
All right. Well, we're checking it out.
Knowing any information.
The white cover.
It's the white one, no, but it's sick. There's actually a Beatles like medley at the end. All these like Fool on the Hill and stuff. It's rad.
Sweet. It's always kind of like whenever we talk to somebody and they give us stuff that we've never heard of, I get kind of excited. So I haven't heard of either of those, so I'm excited to listen.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I love new music.
Yeah, man. Well, guys, shoot. I mean, thanks again for doing this, and sorry for the time snafu yesterday again. But we really appreciate your time, man, because you guys, even seeing you guys, at South by last year, we were like, holy shit, this is like one of the best shows we've seen in a while. So it was really cool to talk to you guys.
Same, man. Thanks for
That was fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Right on. Well, enjoy your popcorn bowl and don't get sucked into a vacuum while you're in space there, Dylan.
Thanks, dude.
All right, see you guys. Thanks again.
Yeah.
All right, nice talking. Later, y'all.
Love you, bud. Bye. You say love you?
You did.
Okay.
Charlie?
What?
Josh and who?
Oh,
Sorry.
Shelby.
Shelby. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know. All right, cool. I'm gonna link in Josh here.
All right, sounds good.
My Josh.